See if it comes up on my phone. Yes, we should be live now with sound, hopefully.
Hopefully. Good times.
Just double checking with my... Yeah, there we go. Sweet.
Here we are. We are live.
We
Welcome
are
to another
live. Yep.
remote Sydney Kings podcast.
Yep. Another remote edition of On the King's Nine, episode 4 for season 2, I guess we're calling it. Well, I'm naming it season 2. Don't forget that you can find us on iTunes and on YouTube and on Facebook, of course, and on Twitter. Hopefully this season I'm going to try and do some Twittering. What else do we got to plug? Anything else? Well, I just share this.
Just like, share, and subscribe where you can. It's always good. Likes on Facebook. We're over 100 likes now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet. Good times. Good times had by us. So we're wrapping up preseason. Obviously, the last 2 games against the Breakers and then the last game against the Hawks, which we went to. Yeah. Made the trek down to Wollongong for a pretty good afternoon of brews and basketball.
Little birthday escapades for you.
That's it, mate. Can't get away with a 1-year-old too much, but it was a good afternoon. But we'll go back to the Breakers game, which was hilarious.
Yeah, did we talk? We haven't talked about that yet, have we?
No, we haven't talked about the Breakers game. It was... I think a lot of the teams in the NBL this year are really going to struggle against the Sydney Kings in many respects. One, the NBL depth roster is much weaker this year than last year, would you say?
Who, in terms of like just general teams in general?
The general teams like the Breakers, the 36ers, the Bullets, the Taipans. Just seems the depth chart is not as good as last year.
we've got a lot more depth.
We've got depth. We've got really good depth.
Having seen us play, I didn't really see much of any of Melbourne United, but yeah, having seen that Perth team, I think it's a different kind of depth we've got this season, like a much better looking depth than kind of last season. We relied on Bogut a lot. I don't know if we kind of fell into that or, it was a plan from the start from Gaze. Like did it feel last season like we just kind of fell into Andrew Bogut as, oh, sweet, he's just, doing everything. This is great. Pretty
much. I think that was Gaze's lack of team inclusiveness, I would say. Like we saw nothing of Dengakuth, who is playing really well in the preseason for South Melbourne Phoenix. Saw a lot of Dane Pinot really not playing basketball, but just doing things for 2 minutes. But yet he can play basketball. Like in NBL 1, he can play basketball. It's just like, but he just didn't play basketball. Because I think, let's just say we're happy that he's in the commentary team this year and not coaching any teams.
Gazy.
Yeah.
It was a good win on Thursday against the Breakers. I thought like we're playing a lot faster, like a lot smaller, yet we've got the size to combat teams, and we're playing a lot faster, like a lot more transition, a lot more just ability to like each individual has ability to create now, which is so much better.
It's funny when we we'll skip a little bit ahead to the Hawks game because we went down there. But it just felt like there was 4 guards on the forward and a center.
Yeah.
It's like, anyone can bring the ball up. Anyone could just create their own shot. Casper Ware could just shoot at will. I can't give this kid enough raps. Didi Lazada, what a man. Don't worry about Lamelo Ball. Don't worry about RJ Hampton. This guy is the next NBA superstar. What a pleasure to watch that guy play basketball. He's going to be something this year.
This is my smug face. Because even in preseason he looked good. Like even in the summer league, and even in like watching some of that footage, I was just like, this kid's going to be an absolute gem because so underrated. Like not coming in with a big sort of hype, not coming in with expectations. Like everyone was talking a lot about, can't even speak English. Like, what good's he going to be? It's just like basketball's a universal language, man. Like he doesn't need to speak English. He's here to learn. He's in the perfect environment to just, you've got a year to showcase yourself in front of everyone who's going to be watching you. And I think it's going to suit his personality. And even this Sydney team's already got a star It's already sort of transitioning into a new front office and new coaching staff. So it didn't need like, look, let's bring another hype train here. You know what I mean? Like it's going to fit into this team perfectly that he's kind of an unsung guy that people are going to wake up to and go, oh, wow, like this kid is actually really, really talented, which it's going to suit the team better, I think, anyway.
I have him in, there's obviously RJ Hampton and Lamelo Ball, but I have him in for Rookie of the Year pretty much straight away. I'd actually put money on it. Actually, in fact, I may put money on it. That's how much I have faith in him winning Rookie of the Year. I think he is MVP caliber. I don't know, man. There's just something about him. He will get a lot of minutes. I think Will Weaver really likes him, and he fits well into the roster. But he can stretch the floor. He can finish in traffic. He can pull up at mid-range. He can defend. He's a pest. He's 6'5".
Yeah, how big did he look? Like when we saw him live, you could just see how like big and menacing he looks against other guards. Like even up against like Melo and Aaron Brooks, you were just like, man, he's just got such amazing size and so quick and such skill for a guard as well.
But we should go back to the Breakers game and give raps to RJ Hampton.
Yeah, what did you think of RJ?
He looked good, man.
Yeah, man.
Quick. Probably not an NBA body yet, though, if you know what I mean.
He's only 19, though, isn't
he? Yeah, but he's 18.
18.
He'll be 19.
Yeah, it's even crazier that he's, already playing professional basketball at 18.
Well, Didi Lozada's been playing since he was 14 in Brazil.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Different.
I mean, different, but again, he was a paid professional at 14. He looked good in that game. I think he ended up with about 14 points. That game was a bit Brick City. It was a little bit Brick City.
The Breakers, they go overseas, I think, to play overseas, and then they come back. Like I think some of the teams are still doing their NBA stint. Are they playing NBA games still?
Mate, well, there's one team that's got a bye this week.
Yeah,
They're
I think it's the Breakers. I've got it here. The Breakers don't play until like the 18th, like for another 3 weeks. 36 is this week, and then as well as the Breakers, and then the Breakers. Yeah, round 3 is when the Breakers play their first game, which is pretty crazy. Like
it's bizarre. It's just like, oh yeah, my team. Like the league started, but my team's not playing for like 3 weeks.
The last year, it felt like we started the season like at the end of October last year. Like this season, it feels like everything's just rushed in because we had that World Cup. It feels like we haven't seen much of Will Weaver and Bogut. Like they've kind of just like quick get back and like get into the preseason games and quick let's just get a few games under our belt and like let's go type of thing.
This team's probably had the least preparation out of all the teams. I mean, obviously Lamanis was coaching the Brisbane Bullets, but outside of Cam Glidden, they didn't have much of a breakup. But Sydney didn't have a coach, didn't have the MVP as part of it. And they're big. A lot of players have run through Bogut, so it's a big loss not having that guy there for a long period of time. Obviously rolled his ankle in that Breakers game, which is a little bit of worry. Did not play against Illawarra, obviously for precautionary rest reasons.
And Casper Ware too in the second half of that Breakers game.
Yeah, it just came off. And
I haven't seen any like news on Facebook or anything like anywhere of any news on that. Seems
maybe
like
it's
they're just kind of keeping that under wraps.
Maybe it's just a bit of a roll or a sprain or something, nothing too untoward. But yeah, the Breakers look down a centre. They look down a centre.
Yeah. Rob Lowe was playing centre for them, was he?
Yeah, I think so.
Without his Rollo haircut. I think he's got a shaved head now.
It's There's talk of Joakim Noah potentially coming to play for the Breakers if you can't get an NBA deal. That'd be pretty crazy.
Hey, did you see some of the preseason footage of him playing? Man, he looked a bit gumbo, eh? He was doing like the workouts with like the little the baffle things on the ground, and he looked so just janky, man. It's crazy. So we move on to the Hawks game, which we went down and watched. It was good.
It was good fun.
Yeah.
We went down to see Lamelo Ball live, the hype train that is Lamelo Ball,
and that head first into a brick wall.
Yeah, that was just. I mean, he had an off night. I know that he's played better preseason games, but just his shot's weird.
It's strange, yeah, man.
Doesn't work coming off a curl. It needs almost to be straight on. You know what I mean? He's very shoulder driven instead of wrist. It's very strange.
It's very two-handed. Very likes to just like that. Ooh, whoops. But yeah, what did you think of Aaron Brooks anyway? Without him, I think
he was good, man. Yeah, he looks good.
I don't think they would have. Like, it would have been an absolute blowout. He had that big third quarter run, which brought them all the way back. I think they were down about 12 or 15, and then he brought them all the way down. He couldn't miss, but you still felt like you just
This can't last forever.
This isn't going to last. And then I think they took him off in the fourth quarter, and I was just like, why are you taking him out? Like, he's your only scorer.
He fouled out.
Did he?
Yeah.
No, did he?
Yeah, he fouled out.
Oh wow, did not know.
That's why
that.
he did.
But yeah, that was a good outing. I don't know about this Hawks team, man. This Hawks team looks, even with Lamelo Ball and Brooks, Boone and Ogilvy wasn't the greatest combination too. And they're kind of their role players, like Emmett Nah coming off the bench and just not looking good either. And then Greeter, who last year, I noted that Greeter would come off the bench up against Bowen. Like, they'd just match him up with Bowen, and Greeter would be like, yeah, I'm Mr. Hardman, I'm taking you out, Bowen. And Bowen, like, he just got eaten up by Greeter, like, in 2 of the games. Whereas in this game, Diddy, like, they came out and they put him on Diddy, and he was like, I'm going to eat you up, Diddy. It was just like, no, you're not. Like, have 4 fouls and have a seat, mate. Like, he just torched him. It was so good to watch, man. There was so much contact on him, too. Like, at the start of the game, like, you could hear the contact.
Yeah.
It's crazy. No calls at the start of the game.
No calls.
The ref crew's blowing like a side out too for free throws, like twice.
Yeah, there was some bad. I mean, it's pre-season, but there was 3 refs there, and they were pretty terrible. Yeah, we can just put that one in the bag. How bad NBL refs are. So,
the stadium was half full too. Like, it didn't feel like it was.
No, I think that Illawarra fans got to get out there and support your team. It's a good team. I was surprised not more Kings fans made the trek down. It's a lovely, lovely afternoon out. I suppose it's a pre-season and not a regular season, but mate, $8 full strength beers at the basketball's pretty good, I have to say.
Yeah, it was good.
You don't get that in Sydney. It's $15 for half strength, shite. But no, it was a good afternoon. Wollongong really came back into it for a bit with some Brooks. Conrad played really well.
Old mate Conrad with a Conrad shirt that looked exactly like Tim Conrad, and his name was Tim, hitting the half-court shot at the halftime. That was crazy, man. That was crazy for anyone who went along and saw that. But yeah, no, a good outing for the Kings, man. We're looking in ominous form. We should just do a quick preview of what we think about each player. We'll start with Jordan Hunter. What do you think of Jordan Hunter in this preseason?
Gumby,
whoa, just straight out there, just cop that.
Definitely a great defensive rebounder. Offensive presence, still has a lot to work on where he is. He just doesn't look like he's set in stone. He doesn't look like he knows where he's going to be either. And when he gets there, he doesn't know where anything is. Maybe that's just a role play into the team. That's why I say Gumby. It's just he looks a bit Gumby at the moment. But maybe that's something he'll grow into. Definitely step up from Pinot, but again, I think Jordan Hunter's better size. He's quite a big dude. Not a true 7 foot. I think he's 6'10".
I think he's 6'11".
6'11".
But he looks like he's bigger than he plays.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, he still looks like he hasn't grown into his size. Like, and you're right, he did look a little bit Gumby. Few just like rookie type things, like where you just like pay attention. Like you're coming off that screen, you're taking 2 steps into the lane. All you need to do is look over and you see a pass rather than, and you could tell like someone would make like a pass and he'd just be, I have to look to it and then I have to move to it. Like, and it's like, pay attention, man. Like, you just need to like be on the same level. But hopefully, he kind of grows into that role.
Yeah, non-instinctive. I mean, he played really well for St. Mary's, didn't he? He won Player of the Tournament.
Yeah,
for St. Mary's.
Yeah, prior to the NCAA. Yeah.
Yeah. So, look, he's obviously coming out with some good caliber. It'd be good to see him put up a few shots as well. Finishing the rims a little bit left to be desired, but that's something that can be worked upon. Look, I'd be happier with him than Dane Pinot at this point because I think that he's a better rim protector.
Yeah. And I think that it really showed without Bogut there. Like, it really showed in that Hawks game. We were just like, we kind of need an extra rim protector, really, don't we? So a lot of the burden was kind of falling on Hunter to provide that. Kickett's not going to provide that at all. No. And then for when we were sort of sitting there, Kiwani and Lucas Walker just had the training kit on for like most of the game. Like, it was like they just turned up to fill in type of thing.
Man, I was really... We'll go on to Lucas Walker because I was surprised. He played really well against the Hawks. Small, versatile center. I think he's like a Nick Kay. He's just always he's that veteran, always in the right place at the right time. Knows his craft. Will be really good depth for Sydney this year, and probably our backup power forward, I would say, as opposed to Moller, who can stretch the floor. But that's about it.
Well, Walker's, like, to me, I was a bit worried, like, how are you kind of stumbling onto what Walker can do? Like, it felt like this team sort of stumbled. Oh, like Walker came out and actually provided a bit of a spark against the Hawks. Like, how good is this? Sweet. Like, okay. Like, to me, I already saw that in his game, and for obviously the coach being with the players all the time. Like, it was a bit worrying to me to be like, you didn't know that he could kind of do this, provide a little bit of size, a bit of veteran presence, pretty savvy in the lane, a few turnarounds, could hit a three, even stretch the floor. Like, and then, we'll go on to Kiwani. Like, we haven't seen him at all. Like, I thought he could provide something at least.
I think he's a good little small forward slasher, like, fast. I would definitely like to see him get some minutes in these games. More than trash. But again, it just depends. I think if Lozada gets into foul trouble, that's another thing, man. Lozada does not foul at all. He is a intelligent defender. So we can talk about Kwani. Look, for some of the games he played against the Taipans, with the Taipans, he looked really good. Played well against Sydney last season, the last game. Against the Taipans. Looked really good in NBL 1. Good slasher, could hit the ball, bit of a mid-range. But I think he's still young, and I think that's what really is just that depth spot in the roster. But it'll be interesting seeing how Will Weaver uses him throughout the season.
Sean Bruce, what do you think about Sean Bruce?
It's just Adnam 2.0 that can't shoot as well, really. Undersized, probably not as ball secure as I'd like to be from what I saw. I
think it's not the worst praise to say that he can't shoot as well as Adnam. Like, Adnam provided some pretty good shooting. So you're not worried really about that. The size thing is an issue, but the good thing is, like, we've got other guards that you're just like, oh, sweet, we've got heaps of other guards here to just throw at guys. Like, you don't really need to worry. He kind of struggled handling the ball. It kind of was lost a little bit like Hunter, where you're just like, over here, mate, over there, mate, like over there. It took you that long to kind of work that out. And especially watching it live, you can kind of see them off the ball a lot more. You can see the angles, the depths, the movement, the anticipation. I don't think he's kind of quite there, but he's 28 too, so it's not like he's a young guy. I just, I can envision, like, if Kiwani provides something off the bench, which we haven't seen really anything in preseason of him, then you'd kind of just bring Kiwani out instead of, Sean Bruce, unless you need a ball handler, but you've got Lish where Lozada, Tate can handle the ball. Lucas Walker even looked like he could handle the ball a little bit, which was good. So yeah, I was surprised that he was getting the minutes that Kiwani wasn't getting. So if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, Bruce has played a lot of minutes in this preseason, and I obviously being a backup point guard, but I think that there's a lot of other guys that can slot in there for minutes because, I mean, Adnan was quite secure with his ball handling. Sean Bruce does not look as secure with his ball handling, and obviously you got the dirty man Lish. What a stud!
The stud.
The stud. Playing still exceptional basketball at a veteran presence in the league. We're lucky to have him in the team. Great shooter. Some classy finishing around the rim. Some good defensive plays. What else you can say about the guy? Great two guard. And I think that probably Kevin could handle backup point guard duties and sliding Lozada into a 2 spot and Quiney into the 3 spot. Would really work well. And jae'sean Tate and Lucas Walker at the 4 seems like a better mix to me. With maybe Moller offering some stretch minutes at the end, but you still got Kickett. I mean, Kickett's still a good veteran presence. He showed it, against the Hawks. He can still stretch the floor and shoot the 3 ball. Do a bit of back down. I'd like to see him back down and pass more, kick out. You've got a lot more shooters this season than last year.
He kind of looked like that was gone though in the Hawks game. So first we'll talk about Moller. Like, where do you think Moller fits in this team? Like, I'm not sure where. You know,
I don't know. I think it's kind of a size. He's good size, so maybe playing some backup power forward. But I would much prefer Lucas Walker as the backup power forward. Obviously, they're going to stick with jae'sean Tate as the small four lineup, who can ball handle and screen off the ball quite well. He's quite a nuggety dude and bouncy. Moller, maybe some depth management. That's pretty much.
he just doesn't have the scoring, like natural scoring where, you know, and then on defense, like it was a little bit average against the Breakers and then, you know, a little bit average against the Hawks. Like it's not like he provides like, oh, you can slot him in for defensive presence or offensive presence. He's just kind of like a here or there guy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where he's going to fit. Like the good thing is though, he can knock down a 3-ball. Like if you give him 1 out of 3, he'll knock 1 out of 3 down.
Yeah.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
And he's quite a smart cutter too. Like he made a few good baseline cuts against the Hawks. See him finishing inside, which is going to be handy too because if, you know, when Bogut's out there and then Bogut comes off and you got Hunter out there, you're kind of losing that scoring. Like we're going to have different ways we need to score the ball around the basket. So we'll have to see how he does. Who else have we got here on my list? Kick it. I don't know, like
standard. He's just a veteran shooter. Give you some presence. I think that he will have a reduced workload this season as compared to last season. He was relied upon quite heavily last season. But it seems like he could almost play. He's almost been wanting to play kind of a 4-5 switch, deep 5, even though he offers no rim protection at his age. What is he, 35, 36?
And it was a worry too because like he tried to back down Brooks a couple of times. He couldn't even back him down. I was like, hey, what's going on? You should be absolutely monstering him. Who else should we move to? Brad Newley?
El Toro.
Yeah, it's a bit of a worry that he's coming off the bench and not really featuring all that much.
I think at this team, he just adds versatility. It's just like you can play 2, 3, or 4. Still lethal in transition will be this year. His free throws he's got to work on.
Still missing free throws.
Still costing Hungry Jacks thousands of dollars every game.
Yeah, that's going to be a worry. Hungry Jacks will be sweating. Those suits will be sweating. Burgers, man. Thousands of $1,000 will be disappearing out the door from New York. And jae'sean Tate too as well. He can't shoot free throws.
Same as Bogut.
I think it was James Young who said in the thing today, oh, no, he's free throws. And I'm like, man, he was awful in college. Like, and he was awful for Antwerp as well. So I can't see him with a meteoric rise to shooting more free throws. But what do you think about Tate anyway as the starting power forward?
Interesting proposition playing a really small lineup with kind of a fast center in Jordan Hunter. It kind of works because a lot of switching and a lot of getting Lazada or Ware open for just the 3-ball, which they knock down at will. So, you know, I think Sydney were on like an 18-2 run to start the first 5 minutes, which is just crazy. All because where do the big guys go? Who does the power forward track? You know, who does the 3 track? You've got guys that can all create shots and drive by easily. So I like it. It's going to be interesting to watch. And if it doesn't, you know, you've got veterans in Newley, Kickett, Walker to back you up if the matchups aren't working well. Slot Tate into a more of the small forward, but he's very bouncy. He's very, very bouncy.
Yeah, and I think like the biggest worry is like the veteran combos are going to try and eat him up. Like they're going to throw guys at him to start games. Like we saw that against the Phoenix where they just threw Ty Wesley at him over and over again. And for other players, you'd worry, like you'd just go, oh, that's going to present a problem, guys. He's an undersized guy, a power forward, playing a power forward. But for Tate, you can tell he's just like, I'll take it on. I'll take anyone. Bring it. Who have you got? And even if he struggles, like he struggled against Wesley, fouled out in that first game against the Phoenix. It didn't matter. He just came up next game. Just like, all right, who you got? Come on, who's next? Who wants a crack at me? Like having that presence at least in the NBA or having that mentality is, you know, it's a refreshing change from last year where we had David Ware, where it's just like we couldn't even fit David Ware into the team at all. Like it just didn't work. Like at least jae'sean Tate, you just go, oh sweet, like great mentality. We'll just give everything for this team. And I think that we lacked that last year, where last year there was, some real problems with boys. You got any ticker here for the next 3 minutes where we, might let a game slip away? And a few of the times, like, they just let games slip away, and you're just like, come on, man. Like, I feel like Tate's got the right mentality. He's got that veteran presence.
If everyone's seeing this is that's the random leg in the air.
Oh yeah, it's Tobes, the Tobes monster making it onto the podcast for the first time in his career.
Just a foot, just right next to me.
So Kevin Lish, obviously we don't really need to say much about Kevin Lish. He is a stud. I feel like less pressures on him this season. Like last year, he kind of went started the season down and then mid-season just went straight up like that. Like this season, it's not going to matter if he starts the season just easing into it a little bit. He's getting a little bit older. His second season coming off that calf injury, it felt like he peaked at the end of the season last year and was just like a monster, but just doing way too much. It was just like, well, you're doing everything, Kevin. Like, have fun with this. And it's like, we're just working way too hard. But this team, it's way set up for him to just ease into the season. Just look how sweet. I got some extra guys here that can do a little bit more. I don't have to, gas myself by the end of the season. He can actually pace himself for this season. But shooting the ball, it was a little bit of a worry, but last year we said the same thing, and then he
same thing came good.
Dialed it back up.
A lot of the pressure will be off him this year on the 3-point line. He was kind of our premier 3-point shooter last year for a lot of the games, and this year you've just got everyone else. So great
everyone can shoot a 3-ball, which is really good. And then Casper Ware, what's your
definite improvement, I think, over Randall. Just a better perimeter defender, smarter player, can shoot around the screen. What more can you say? The guy's the championship player. Won for Melbourne the year before. Made it to the finals last year. Took him to the promised land. Destroyed us in the.
Yeah, just destroyed us. That was brutal having to watch that again, man.
Yeah, so very happy. I mean, we should probably go on to the final of Lazada.
Yeah, Diddy. Sorry, I forgot about Diddy. How can we forget? Lustada. We got to come up with a nickname. Lustada. I like that.
Yeah, Lustada.
Diddy.
Dirty
Lazada.
Dirty Lazada. That could be it.
Filthy crossovers.
Dude, filthy. I give Lamelo Ball, man. He's got some filthy handles.
Oh man, he shook Mola out so good in that game, man. That was crazy. Did you see me? I was sitting there. Obviously, I was sitting next to you, but could see me just cringe, oh no, Mola's on him. Oh, and then he just crossed him up filthy, man.
Missed the shot. It was like, that was all for nothing. But
it was still sweet that he crossed him up. It was good to see. Anyway, but yeah, Diddy. I think the perfect situation where no hype. Just come in and do your thing, and a lot of people are starting to sort of wake up and say, "Oh, this kid's actually really talented, really good." And I think the language barrier thing might help too, where if he was outspoken and really had a really high grade personality, you might get some sort of friction and distraction or something there. But I feel like he's just going to be quiet, just do all his talking on the court, and be a really underrated sort of absolute piece that we're going to have this season, where we can just slam it into the team and just going to have some of that.
And potentially off to the Pelicans next year. Yeah, I think he's NBA ready. I really do.
For sure.
Maybe the language barrier was one thing stopping him, but
that was one of the main reasons why they sent him down. They were just you can't speak English. You may as well just have a draft and stash year while we're rebuilding this team. Obviously, they went through all those changes with Lonzo Ball and all those guys coming in, Anthony Davis leaving. They're already in a transition period. They said, just go over Australia, because he was going to go to Europe. But they were like, why go to Europe when you're going to a European team, like a Russia or to Holland or something, or Spain? What's the point when you're just coming back to play in the US? Learn English in Australia, get some Australian culture, similar climate too, playing in Brazil, which isn't too bad for them as well. And then Andrew Bogut. What more do we need to say about Andrew Bogut?
Nothing more. Should we do a Taipans preview?
I just first want to say, I'm a bit worried about his injury, his fitness too. He played a lot of games, Bogut. I would have really would have liked this team to fit that spot with an extra shot blocker. Just to take some of the load off him at the start of the season. I feel like he's going to have to hit the ground running and have no time off. It's a bit of a worry.
I don't think he's going to play 33 minutes a game. I think Jordan Hunter will come in and play 15 to 16 minutes a game. They will load Matt Jim a lot better than Andrew Gaze did because essentially every time he came off the floor, we just get torched for like 30 points. It seems like Jordan Hunter's sensible enough and a good enough presence to minimize the leakage of buckets. So I doubt we're going to be seeing Bogut play 33 to 35 minutes a game.
All right, yeah, so we should move on then to the Taipans. I'm just getting their roster up. Oosh. This is a dearth of talent. Jared Kenny, Mirko Jeric has come back from Europe. That's interesting. Majok Deng, I like Majok Deng. Fabian Kruzlovic, Kuat Noi. I'm just probably bricking these names, but who cares? Nate Jarway. I love watching Nate Jarway. Always
love Big Nate. It's good
Nate
fun.
Jarway. Anthony Fisher, DJ Newbull, George Blagojevic, Scott Machado, Cameron Oliver. So no Melo Trimble this season for them.
He's obviously down to Melbourne. Yeah, it's just, who put that roster together? Who did it? Smack a roster.
How do you get players there, man? You know what I mean? Like,
it's Cairns. Go sit on the Great Barrier Reef for 6 months of the year of your life and go, yeah, man, I'm going to have a tropical holiday. That's what it is.
Well, they couldn't even get Bowen last year. Like, you know, word is that Bowen kind of wanted to go there just so he could get more minutes, but the Kings ended up coming and poaching him anyway. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. This roster is pretty ordinary.
Pretty ordinary. Look, it's a lifestyle city. I mean, you'd want to get a couple of guys of veteran presence in there, get some older NBA guys, potentially just want a 6 months holiday in the sun, you know, like those Miami players. It's quite sleepy town. I don't know what it is, but that's a tough roster. That's a tough roster. Probably would like to see a bit more young guns in there than that. Doesn't seem like, you know, maybe they could poach the Jordan Jet or someone with a bit more center court presence. I mean, I think they're going to struggle this year. I've got them for wooden spooners, definitely.
So how many games do you reckon they're going to win this season?
How many games are we playing in total? 27?
28, I think it is.
28.
There's 28 rounds. Sorry.
20 rounds.
There's 20 rounds. I think it ends up being 28 games.
I'm going to have to say probably 7 games.
6 wins last year.
7 wins this year.
So you want to predict 7?
Yeah.
You like how I'm just sneaking in and some over-under stuff here?
That's it, mate.
You're going over on last year.
I'm going 1 over.
All right, let's run through these teams then and get your over-under predictions. Breakers, they won 12 last year. How many this year?
11.
11 under.
They're just going to get smanged at center.
Yeah, that's true. RJ Hampton might be worth a few wins here and there, no?
Yeah, they're just going to get manged at center.
Hawks, 12 wins last year.
I'm going to go 12 wins this year.
12 evens. Lamelo not worth a few more wins?
No.
Yeah,
no.
Nah, it's hard. 36ers. Jerome Randall, spoiler alert, coming back to the 36ers. How good's that?
Have they still got Jacob Wiley?
Nah, he's gone.
Oh, no, mate. Then how many would they have last year?
14 last year. No Serbia either.
I'm going to say 15 this year.
15
we'll go one more.
Overs.
Yeah.
Bullets, 14 wins last year.
13
unders for the Bullets. They got Sobi. They still got Kadee. I went under, I think, on the Bullets. 12 wins for me. Kings.
21 wins.
21. Wow. That's a big over. I had 20. Then Melbourne United.
20 wins.
20. I had 17. I went under, so that'll be interesting. And then Perth, the Leaguers and reigning champions, premiers, whatever you call it.
21 wins.
21 wins. Wow, that's big. So 2 teams, like last year, 3 teams finished on 18. You're going 21, 20, and 20 for the top 3 teams.
I think the competition as divide has gotten wider. Some of the big teams. And we should probably talk about South Melbourne Phoenix.
I just put that in as a wild card, so you can have a prediction if you want.
I'm going to say 13 wins.
13 for them. Oops, 13. Just writing it in here, and I'll go 14. Let's say 14. But yeah, we each get one of those. I'm sneaking this new game on you. We're gonna have another game. Round predictions. So pick the round. Phoenix at Melbourne. Who have you got to win?
Melbourne.
United. Yep. We're going to do that each week. We'll put a tally board up there, and I'll put a board. Kings at the Taipans.
Kings.
Melbourne at the Wildcats. Grand final rematch. Wildcats.
Perth home. It's a big stadium.
Yeah, and Melbourne coming off a back-to-back. And Bullets at the Hawks.
I'm going to say the Hawks.
I went Hawks as well. So yeah, we both picked the same thing. So I'll put that into a little thing on the video when I make the video, or I'll make a thing and I'll post it rather. And we'll announce the game on the next episode. We'll talk about it a little bit more. But I've got all your predictions written down and all your over/under stuff written down as well. That'll be interesting to see. So the season
comes to fruition.
Hey,
the season begins.
Man. It's not long away. Friday.
Yep. I will be watching it with a beer on the couch, which will be great. And we'll be back probably sometime early next week to wrap things up.
Just having a look here. There's some questions. We've got questions. People actually talking to us here. James Young talking about power forwards. Alicia's finding it hard to score in the paint against increasingly taller. That's true, actually. I noticed he's lost a little bit of step. I feel like he's getting goaded into scoring too. He's got to learn to sort of just kick it out. Like he knows he can score in the lane, but he's got to just trust guys around him, kick it out. Whereas last year, he had to do pretty much everything. So with Randall, no word on the Ware injury either. I haven't heard anything. Calf strain,
nothing.
Apparently.
Nothing. Calf strain. Okay.
And then Paul Fox, Angus Brandt on our team, and we got a chip. Man, Angus Brandt at power forward
would be absolutely phenomenal.
We'd probably have to lose 3 players though, just to fit him in.
Fit him under salary cap, unless these guys are all getting cooked off the books, just getting free accommodation for 6 months in some 5-star hotel. No man, it's all good.
At the Bat and Ball in Sydney. All right, we'll wrap it up there. All right, another good one. The game's coming up on the weekend, so it's come around pretty quickly.
It has. The season begins. The quest to the championship.
A lot of pressure on the Kings this season, man.
There is. They've recruited well. They've got a good team, and
we started awful last year. I think we lost to Adelaide and then lost again to Adelaide 2 in a row.
Yes.
Oof. Hopefully we pick up the win against Taipans.
We had David Ware last year. We
got a better team this year, I think.
Definitely.
All right.
Peace out, everyone.
Yeah, all right. We'll see all you guys next time on the Kings Time.
Laters.